And we're rolling. Today, I wanted to expand. I didn't do much warm up, so I'm going to do that during the intro. But yeah, I just wanted to continue to expand on my drug use story and specifically on why I am not sober today. So to resume you in a very short time, the long story of my drug use life, basically I've been a bartender for 6 years in London, and all I was doing is drinking every day and spending my money on party and drugs. I guess that's the quickest way I can retell this story to you. And the first time I started to realize that, I'll do it static so easier to talk. First time I started to realize that I had to slow down was thanks to working out. So I think that many people make that mistake of completely let go when they are falling into dark holes, bad times in their life, and they let themselves be in drugs from these, whether they're bad decisions or something happened in your life, anything that can make you feel worse than you are right now. It doesn't have to be drugs. It could easily be a breakup, you lose your job, maybe an injury, right? So the huge mistake that people do in this situation is kind of falling to this dark hole where they do nothing instead of trying to keep up. So I always had this mentality. Let's do a pistol squat warm-up set. It's not like I warmed up very well today, but I did my stretching before and mobility work. So, that's good. But yeah, training was the thing that helped me the most. I noticed that okay. So I noticed that, partying and not sleeping and losing days, it was affecting negatively, more healthy and positive choice, which in this case would be training. And so I decided to do my first dry month. My first dry month wasn't a completely dry month. I just eliminated drugs. And it made me reflect, It made me reflect on the fact that I was relying on drug and party to live my life. I didn't do this first month without drugs in the best conditions, to be honest, because I decided to do it on December. December in London as a bartender is the busiest time ever, so I didn't manage to actually think of how to make my life happier, because my life was absolutely horrible that month. So I was thinking about escaping even more. But, from that moment, it started a journey of searching for what I really wanted to do in life. And so after that, after the first month, then actually just 1 month after, I did my first proper dry month where I have eliminated also alcohol, and that's when my mind opened up even more to what life has to offer. More specifically, it was just simply feeling healthier. Literally, like when you are in this tunnel of drugs and alcohol and party, and you go through like 36 hours dancing and you're tired, you just get used to that pain. And you know, the hangover is there, but you kind of don't care that it's there, and you keep going, and you kind of ignore it. So 12 kilograms. I think I'm going to go straight into no. Let's do a warm-up set with 8 instead of going into 12. Right, so yeah, you start to realize that shit, your body can feel so much better, and that feeling hits just about 1 week, you know, like after the first week, your body really flushes out all the remaining pieces of substances that you had in the body. Because yeah, this is something that I stress a lot to people that don't realize that they need to slow down, and the constant use of any substances is affecting them. Is that you're simply not 100% if you're using all the time, and or even if it's once a week, you know, you don't give your body the time to completely recover, and that really starts to happen after 1 week. Then after 2 weeks, you feel even better. So that motivated me, because starting after so many years of mindless hammering my body with drugs, thinking that was the only way of just enjoying life and feeling good. Doing these dry months was kind of like training for me. It was kind of like training. It's like, you know, life is better. I can feel better. But, you know, at the same time, I was still waiting to go back to party because well, I guess it's this balance between pain and pleasure that you're trying to even out when you're coming from this background. So for me, I was still trying to make life better through party, right? And every time, you know, the dry month would finish, I'll probably kind of party harder than ever, especially the first kind of weekend after. Let's give it an 8. Oh yes, 80 Ds. My right is always still so much stronger. So I start to do longer dry months. I've done 2 months of dry months, then I do 3, I would do another dry month. And it was kind of these, you know, it was almost like I didn't know why. I really didn't know why, like, I had to be sober. But at the same time, I knew that that was needed, that it's not okay to always look for hard drugs in order to have fun and escape reality. You know, and also thanks to this journey and this dry month, because you think more, you're more present, you listen to yourself more when you are sober for a longer period of time. Like when I was in this dry month, I still allowed myself to go, I mean, in London, social life, it's party, really, like that's what you do. And if you don't, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know. Actually, that's what I know about the UK, that you go out and have a pint. So anyway, I was working still as a bartender, so of course, all my colleagues would like to go out and drinks, and sometime I would join them, and you start to realize that, do you really like the environment? Not really. I mean, I always like to dance, right? So for me, techno was enjoyable also because, you know, you got some move, you shuffle, go with the beat, and I like that. So I actually like to go to clubs and dance. That was fun for me. So I would still go out, but it gets to a point that, like, you know, what are you trying to do? A marathon of dancing? No, and most people would continue the party because they are lying to themselves, or better, you know, changing their perspective of reality through some kind of substance. Usually would be alcohol for most people in these cases. And so I didn't want to be there. Oh, fuck. So you start to realize these things. It's not even about realizing. It's just about being more present and more honest about the situation and what you want to do. And I would go home. You know, nice. You go home, you sleep, and you wake up the next morning and you do something. So, similar to this thought process, you know, I started to, even though when I started as a bartender, it seemed like the thing that I wanted to do, because I studied as a mechanical operator, should be working in factories and pressing buttons. And I remember when I tried that, I really didn't like the environment, surrounded by men, metal, you know, metal noise all the time. I didn't like that. So, and I was already in my kind of party mood. So I thought being a bartender would be this kind of work that would allow me to, you know, make my life a holiday. And it did. It did. It gave me so many fun experiences and made me meet people and girls, but you know, I did like to make cocktails. But you know, what I really started to realize is that the industry is fucked. It's slavery there. You don't know where you go home if you're working in the night. It's always long hours, standing. I fucked up my back while being a bartender. And you know, at the beginning I wanted to open a bar. I always kind of wanted to do my own thing. But you know, working in the bar and realizing that, fuck, you know, your employers are all drug addicts, right? They're all party animals. And everything breaks. There's so many things that can go wrong. You don't know how many people come. So the business is so fucked. And yeah, so I started to realize that, you know, that wasn't what would make me happy in life. At this point, you know, another thing that got me more relaxed in terms of party was that I actually found my first girlfriend, because, you know, from 19 to 24, I would live my life single. Not 24, 23. Fuck. Boy. To all the motherfuckers that think that you cannot do a proper leg workout at home, you're wrong. Fuck. So, where we at? So yeah, my first girlfriend. So, and I think kind of what happened as well with meeting my first girlfriend and having that thought, oh, maybe I am okay with someone. Someone might make my life happy, having intentions from the right person, love from the right person. It might be possible because before my first girlfriend, I was opposed to it, you know. for different reasons. One of those was the simple fact that I thought I wasn't going to be a good boyfriend. And this is also another long story, but not because I cheated, because I always prioritize honesty in any kind of relationship. But yeah, so I started to realize things as I slow down on party. Another thing was, for example, that I really, because I, at this point, I made the decision that I wanted something more. I wanted to build some foundation in my life. I didn't just want to be a party animal that breaks his back for some bar owner and make money for him. So I started to actually work part-time and care less about money, and started to value more other things. I started to put more focus into training. I started to play the guitar again. I started to practice flair bartending with the bottles. And so you can see here a pattern, right? You can see here that I'm always looking for something. I'm always looking for that stimulus. And I look for it in different ways. Drugs is only one of these. This is a trait of ADHD. I have ADHD, but you can see, my not only addictive behavior, but just looking for that strong sensation and emotion, sense of achievement, sense of progress. It was always there. It was always there, and throughout my life, I achieved it in different ways, not only with drugs. The fact that I managed to go to the UK, and then from London, I went to live in Spain. I remember I was so happy when I had the flights towards this new life adventure. I was crying. I remember, of happiness on the plane. And by the way, I've done all these travels working and living around by myself. Oh, this feels easy. I was joking. So I think we can already reconnect with this concept to the reason why I'm not sober today, because I always have that hole to fill, and sometimes I can feel it, sometimes I can just be disciplined and try and just be okay. Some other time, I fall back into addiction. So, I wouldn't describe it as addiction, because I would say that addiction is relying on the substance, and it is, apart from alcohol, that I was drinking every day. So I don't know if it was just the environment or I was relying on it. What I know is that as soon as I left the hospitality world as a bartender, I stopped drinking every day. So I would say I was physically addicted to it, I think. And so I fall back to use, to fill this gap. So my journey continues, and so now I'm starting to understanding that I need to a better life. I start to understand that yes, here I started to understand that drugs are not the solution. Drugs are not happiness. Happiness is found in real life things, achievement and building habits that you like, hobbies that you like, activities that you like, and relationships. But at this point, I still wasn't sure about relationship. It got me a long time to understand the importance of relationships. Let's go. It was hard. So at this point I still didn't want to be sober because, I'm trying to recall, exact moments of my life. But definitely, at this point, the loop has been broken. About 23, 24 years old. I wasn't looking for party all the time. I wasn't looking for partying all the time anymore. But what I've learned is that drugs was also a way to present myself different in social interactions, and sometimes that would lead to connect with people that weren't the real people that I would want around me, right? And the problem is that since I was a kid, I've always been picked up and I was bullied. So with drugs, I started to lie to myself and telling that I was okay alone. But I wasn't alone. Drugs were on my side. So I did have company. I was lying to myself. I thought that. And now I'm starting to understand that thanks to my girlfriend, because she held on with me even though I broke up with her because of this feeling of I'm okay alone, and rather leave than solve problems, whether I'm right or I'm not right in the argument, right? But I would rather not argue, never. I think that was the thing for me. Like, I was escaping the relationship that I would feel would hurt me. But then I understand now that people are doing that thing too, and need to try. I mean, I'm not saying that I went from leave me alone to the most empathic person, but I try now. I understand that it's okay if someone is going through a moment with you, but if you can solve the problem, and if you stick together, it's for a reason. That wasn't my first girlfriend though, because that was, it was as crazy as me. I mean, like, my actual girlfriend is kind of the same. We met at a techno party. But I guess with my first girlfriend, I wasn't ready to work it out. But she wasn't either. She also has problems, so that wouldn't have worked as well as my actual girlfriend. So yeah. So you could say that right now I'm feeling that hole with people. But listen, everyone has a hole. And we all need to find the best, less self-destructive way of filling that hole. And for me, I found that that hole is filled with people that love me. I feel it with giving love to people, taking care of people. And I also feel it with building long-term, long-term things that give you delayed gratification. Just similar to working out and going to the gym. You're not going to get results after 1 week or 2 weeks. You keep doing it, you keep getting better, you feel better, and that's the gratification. One day, if you're a beginner, 2 years after, you got 10 kilograms of extra muscle and a six-pack. It's like, whoa, this is confidence, and that's real gratification, much better than instant high from a line that makes you not being yourself and gives you hangover the day after and makes a hole in your bank account instead. So I'm definitely looking to fill the hole. Achievement with my business, I like that. I like to give, to see my clients getting results, give me gratification. So I focus on those things. I'm always looking for the hit, right, of dopamine and gratification. But I'm looking for a healthy way to do that. I said this in the other podcast, but for example, another thing, Oof. Let's go for 12. Eight. 9. Whew. 11. And 12. So just a quick break. So the other thing that is filling that hole for me and really giving me that intense feeling is snowboarding. When I'm up there in the mountain, in the snow, going fast, doing little jump, going with the flow and there I feel like a baby, you know? I just want to go up and down the slopes. And but you know, can you do that every day? Yeah, you can. You could dedicate your life to that. I guess a lot of extreme sport enthusiasts do that. They are adrenaline junkies. You can do that. But I guess it's just not my situation. But right now, you know, I value much more the negative downsides of using any substance, even if it's only alcohol. I really balance out the positive and negative. And, you know, of course you have the money thing. Of course you have the hangover that, as I said before, is not only one day, it's multiple days. And that affects things that are more important and truly improve your life over time, like being present when I'm working on my business during the week, less motivation to work out. So now I value these things a lot. So you're asking now, so why the fuck aren't you sober? And I guess the reason why, you know, I cannot, the reason why I'm not sober, I mean, let's say one of the reasons why I'm not sober, because it's difficult to say the reason why I'm not sober, I guess. So I'll tell you the story of what happened, right? Oh, now we have I still didn't find a substitute for this exercise. And so because I'm doing the podcast, I cannot think too much. I'm just gonna do it. Single leg RDL. But I'll tell you a story. I got a good story that might explain. Because, you know, you might don't know exactly what's happening to you. You know the story, you know how you feel, but maybe you don't know how actually things are affecting you necessarily. And you don't even have to know all the time, as long as you're moving forward. Fuck this. I mean, it's not a bad exercise if you're actually focusing on doing it properly. Don't distract me. But yeah, what's the story? So, when I really realized what I was capable of, right? So the Stefano of before was simple Stefano, working and party. I didn't have a vision, I didn't have clarity. Didn't have that. Then I started to work as a personal trainer, and I opened up my mind to, okay, so I don't have to be a slave. I can work for myself, make 60 euro in 1 hour instead of in 1 day. And so my mind started to open up. My mind started to open up to the fact that I had to be sober because of this greater thing, and I had to study in the beginning. I started to wake up early. As a bartender, I was a night owl. You know, I would wake up all the time. 11, 12 p.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. So that was the drill. So I really started to think about sobriety and not just dry months when I became vegan for the animals, because I realized that was my purpose. I wanted to be an animal rights activist. And what was possible in terms of business and creating my personal brand, and the money I could make, to both ignite with fuel my animal rights activism and help my mother, help the people around me, because something that I truly like, and that is not some mechanism that I have. What I truly like is do things for people, help them out, right? That's why personal trainer. I like to be a personal trainer and help people get from zero to shredded and see them increase their confidence. So that's something that I do like, helping people through my skills, like I always was the one that would organize the party and cooking the food, and it wasn't because I wanted to be useful for them. I just enjoyed being useful, you know what I mean? That's something that I like to do. So, having this new vision of becoming a millionaire, because it is possible, and I'm going for that. Being a millionaire and being able to help so much people around me, animals and activism, this is where I realized that, partying is a huge step back in this journey, right? So, and you might hear this thing some other times. Oh fuck. So you might heard this some other times, that the journey of an addict, of a drug user, is like going up a ladder, and every time you use, you go back 2 or 3 steps. You're going up, you use it, you go back 2 or 3 steps. So that's what I truly start to visualize And that's why I started to think of wanting to be completely sober, and I tried multiple times, often with intention. The first time, and I had the intention of starting my 12 months sober journey, but the wrong person came beside me, a person that I have attracted through these wrong habits, a person who is a bit weak, a victim, really in need of attention, and she was in love with me. She's still, but she would not respect me. She just wanted to take from me, and not saying she was a bad person, but she was not the right person to have beside me, because she wouldn't try to elevate herself to my level. So we would had our experience using stuff, right? So you're putting in front of you this curtain, so you don't see everything, and you kind of able to go through what you don't like. But then when I was sober, then she would be the wrong person to have beside me. For one reason or another, I ended up with her. My mistake to bring her back into my circle, just to understand that this person would text me consistently with the love messages. I wouldn't answer, stuff like that. Right now, my phone is full of her messages, and there is no answer for me. And she still try. She sent me an audio after fucking 3 or 4 months I'm not answering, and there are 20 messages from her. She's still trying. Crazy. But yeah, she came, so I was forced to be with her, and I end up doing stuff with her. So this is how, I broke my sobriety. So I was trying to filling in the blank. So we have 15 minutes as always. I'm not well behaving during my leg workout. All right, so this is how I break my first attempt to do a long period sober. And this time it was an external factor that made me break it, but the second time it was completely internal. And here's the thing, and actually I believe this is this is another area to unpack, which is the fact that it's one thing to do 1 month sober, 2 months sober, that you're doing it just to put a break to your unhealthy habits, but truly what you want to do is going back to these unhealthy habits because it's what you feel like it's life for you at the moment. Another thing is committing to an year sober. You start to realize, okay, I need to leave and try to be okay, and try to be okay without that, because in this period is the period I realized. This is when I realized I have ADHD. And not the sober. I don't consider the the period of ADHD medication as my sober period, of course. But anyway, this is another story. But you know, like taking ADHD medication was just another symptom of my addictive behavior. You know, maybe I do have ADHD. Maybe some people actually need and the battery left us, but I want to finish this before I go to kickboxing. So I said this girl was the first one that broke my intention to do a long period sober. After that, what happened, you know, is that simply when you do this long period sober, is not anymore like 1 month or 2 months where you're thinking, okay, I'm going back to using drugs. I'm going back to that sensation and that short-term short-term fun and escape from reality. You are actually going to have to be okay with life. And as I said, I did realize that what's more important in life is delayed gratification, not only in, you know, through gym and fitness and health, but also through building a better future, a future that gives you a good life, a better life, and that can help people around you. And in my case, also animal rights activism. But you know, in these 8 months when I tried to be sober, things weren't perfect. I was living in a camper, and you know, you might think, oh, it's a dream to live in a camper, but when you're trying to create stability, create a better future, you're working 8-10 hours per day, you organize animal rights activism, animal rights, you know, events weekly. You want to fight in kickboxing, so you go to a gym to train in a kickboxing gym. So this is stability. This is not just random freedom. And living in a camper doesn't give you that stability. It gives you extra problem. You know, it gives you a bathroom that you have to empty, water that you have to fill. So together with that, you know, extra expenses from the camper as well, because things break if you live in a camper. It's not made to live in it. And so my reality was stressful. Okay, was stressful, and you could say, oh, but you need to be happy with what you have. But we all know it's not that easy. Of course, I would remind myself all the time that everything is good. I live by the beach. You know, I'm living in my dream city, right? I built indeed a business, but it just wasn't where I wanted to be, in a place of safety that gives me a sense of safety, right? So what happens at this point, you know, that just this demon of addiction just builds up in me. You would think that once you get out of it and you spend time kind of sober, you just don't think about it. But for me, it was the opposite. And it probably because, you know, my reality was a little stressful, right? And so I would consistently think about taking something, to the point that I was even going to do something stupid, which, I mean, I'm stupid right now as well. I'm smoking the vape thing. I don't know what it is. So I was thinking about smoking, but in a sense that, you know, I wanted to take some drugs, but that, you know, I didn't want to take drugs. So I was thinking about smoking. And then I decided, because this thing in my head was consistent, I decided to actually escape and take some, we took some mushrooms, and it worked. Like, it was like having a 1 month holiday in the Southeast Asia. So it actually helped me decompress. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm not sober, because I think that it might help, with having a more relaxed mind, help me to, having these little escapes. It might help me reduce the anxiety when it's there. But also what happened after I broke the sobriety, right? Because during my sobriety, I'm disciplined, right? I say no, 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 no. I say no, 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 no. But these demons get bigger inside of me, and it was ready to explode. In fact, then my friend came over, also not a good influence, even though he was thinking that he was going to have a sober holiday because he knew I was sober. But I broke my sobriety before he came, and he's also a party animal. So and he also does sport as well. So when he came for 10 days, we trained and we partied a lot, like 10 days straight. Like I finished 5 grams, and in 10 days, doing every day. And so I feel like the reason why that happened is because I hold myself back too much, right? So now what I'm thinking is I'm trying to let things loose, and it seems that I'm actually able to control it a lot better. I'm not thinking of using that much. I did party 3 weeks ago, but I'm not thinking of getting fucked up or anything close to it. Have few drinks this weekend, but that's it. I don't feel that there is a risk of me doing what I did in September when my friend came over. And I actually, before he came, I did it by myself, like I was alone getting high, and that wasn't good. There was something very wrong, I think there. So that's it, guys. Like and comment, let me know what you think about this story, and I'll see you in the next one.